My friends, today we have 10 rare glitches, mysteries, and oddities that you have never seen before in GoldenEye 007. These are such strange and unusual, one-of-a-kind glitches that they mostly continue to mystify and surprise community members to this very day. Numbers 8, 9, and 10 are just so bizarre, no one has been able to explain them with certainty, though there are a ton of crazy theories, so you're going to want to stick around to see all these strange anomalies we've found over the last few years speedrunning GoldenEye 007. So without further ado, here we go.
Here we go!
On the Frigate stage, these blue doors located on the bridge are permanently locked. There's no way for you to open them yourself by pressing B, no keycard that unlocks these doors. Mind you, with cheats on, like the GameShark code walk through doors, you can just walk through them. And with invisibility on, you can confuse guards and lure them to come search for you over here, thus opening the door in the process, similar to how we get the glass door open on Aztec. This is what that looks like, and we've known about this very trick for decades, with this footage right here having been recorded back in 2011. However, it's exceptionally rare for guards to open these doors with no cheats on. However, that's exactly what happened on this Frigate Double Agent speedrun attempt by Perfect Ace, played in February 2022. We can see as he approaches to free the final hostage, a guard is over on the other side of the bridge, opening the rare, always locked blue door. This is just so rare to capture on video. It's not really a mystery, as it just has to do with the imperfect AI of these 90s era guards. It's not uncommon for a guard to miss going up or down the stairs, for example, and so in this case, perhaps this guard actually meant to run around the side of the frigate, but accidentally made his way all the way up the stairs into the bridge, and then when he tried to find space to turn around, he ended up opening this door. It is an incredible oddity that I doubt we'll see again very soon. It's amazing to think that Ace was on world record pace on this run, and so if the hostages completed, we could have seen this extremely rare event in a world record speedrun. But that would have likely just been too cool to actually happen. Here is a truly bizarre video clip that really baffles all explanation. Good old British speedrunner Dynamics DJ is playing GoldenEye's statue level when all of a sudden part of the stage just simply doesn't load. This is exceptionally bizarre as he doesn't clip out of bounds, he's just running on the ground where it should be. It's not like he falls through the floor or anything, but the level is just not loaded. Once he passes through this section of the stage, the level flips back to being normal again, snapping back to reality. This has never been seen before, nor again on this part of the statue stage. And GoldenEye's not a game where this kind of thing happens very often, especially not in wide open areas like this. It does happen a little more frequently at some seams between rooms and doors, which act as portals loading pieces of the level back and forth, but to see such a thing on statue is just truly baffling. Could it be that this area is one of those portals between rooms in the map and it just failed to load for one reason or another? Really, the best explanation we have is sort of the default one when the entire community is just stumped. Could it have been a crooked cartridge or dirty cartridge contacts? Who knows? Here is a very odd clip shared by European speedrunner Gromic, where he gets stuck inside Trevelyan at the bottom of Cradle. Indeed, a couple of things are going on here, so let's get into it. For one, the typical way of playing Cradle is to chase Trevelyan around from point to point, shooting him at points where he stops until you do enough damage to have the final face-off at the bottom of the late great Arecibo satellite dish platform. Once you've injured Trevelyan, you cannot damage him again until he stops moving at his next waypoint. You can do enough damage during a single one of these points to pass him away entirely, and that's what we've always done on world record speedruns. But in general, he can only take damage at these points in one instance, and then not again until he stops moving at the next point. Then we get to the bottom of the platform. Typically, you'd see Trevelyan already there, lowering down the ladder for the final face-off. But in this case, Gromit gets ahead of Trevelyan going into the little hut here. As a result, Trevelyan drops down and lands directly on top of Bond, causing Bond to get completely stuck inside Trevelyan. Does this remind anyone of Ant-Man and Thanos? Anyhow, because Trevelyan took damage at the previous stoppage point and has not fully stopped moving or reached the next waypoint at the bottom of the platform, he remains invincible and cannot take damage. Gromit finds himself in a truly unwinnable situation, and all he can do is sit there, frozen in place, as Trevelyan's henchmen fire endlessly, ultimately passing him away. GoldenEye tool-assisted speedrunner and scientist Weister suggested that this is probably possible since the game may not check collisions vertically. After all, there are only a few situations where you or guards can fall off anything in-game. This explains how this oddity took place, and it also explains how the Aztec crouch glass strategy is possible. It seems that any place where you can get under an NPC, you might also be able to get inside of them. So that's good to know. So here's an oddity that many have experienced over the years, but we didn't really understand that well until recently. Every now and then, someone would be attempting a session and hear a very weird sound playing in the background. Take a listen. This would only ever happen if someone was playing with the in-game music turned off, or at least very low, a simple watch menu option. And it almost sounded as if it were a weird relic of the in-game music being played. Something being processed and played as a single tone. It was so strange that even some dubbed it the creepypasta note.
Oh, there it is. Dude, it starts really early. Isn't it beautiful?
It was eventually realized that this is a fairly common occurrence if you accidentally fail to pull down the music volume bar all the way to the bottom. It can be pretty easy to do this since putting it to 0 still leaves a tiny bit of the bar on screen, so you'll often end up putting it to like 3 or 5% without really knowing. And it doesn't make any difference when it comes to gameplay or even sound. At 3% you can still barely hear it, if at all. But yes, indeed, when you put it to 3 or 5 or 10%, very low but not 0, you will very regularly get a very strange sound on a number of levels. While we understand how and when this happens, we're still not exactly sure why. Perhaps it has something to do with the compression or processing of audio on the N64 when music isn't at full volume. So if you're an audio engineer or N64 sound card expert, I'd love to hear your theories. This strange oddity happened to GoldenEye archivist and multiple Untied World Record holder Joris Quevedo while playing Facility. He inadvertently switches to Mine and throws it right around the threshold of this door, and this results in some kind of Schrodinger's mine. On the far side of the threshold, the mine appears loaded on the wall, yet on the other side of the threshold, the mine is unloaded. Interestingly, Joris shoots the wall where the mine should be, but it does not explode. Shooting a mine usually would indeed cause it to do so. However, when Joris uses the detonator to, detonate the mine, it does indeed blow up. Was the mine there, or was it not? Joris' best guess as to why this happened has to do with the way the rooms are loaded in GoldenEye. He threw the mine from one room to another, thus the mine might have only been loaded and visible when he's in that room, and when he passes through the doorway, thus loading the other room, the mine unloads since it was sort of previously part of the other room. I tried this myself though, and I couldn't really get to work the same way, so who really knows what was going on here? Very odd indeed. Here's another strange clip from Joris. Much weirder, I'd say. After a healthy session of playing Train, Joris quits out and goes back to the level select menu. But wait, did you see that? The Archives film frame is completely messed up. All glitchy and weird. It just looks so bizarre. He clicks on the level and the Archives menu itself looks fine, but he doesn't actually attempt to load the stage. Perhaps he was worried about it messing up his cartridge further and the game freezing or something like that. We can see he clicks in and out of the level select menu a number of times, and each time the Archives film frame is just completely graphically glitched. It's just so strange and unusual, it almost looks like a joke. Joris eventually resets and the glitch seems to resolve itself. As far as I know, this has never been seen since, nor again. It's just too weird. Now here's one you might remember from my similar video 5 years ago, but my friends, it just keeps happening. Dynamics is playing Cradle and beats Trevelyan down the first ramp after the hut room. He runs to the end just to check the pace of the run, but the level fades out anyways since Trevelyan somehow passed away.
What the
We're pretty much positive nowadays that the only way this can happen is that Trevelyan reaches the end of the ramp, drops a nade, yet stays in this same position while it goes off, taking damage and passing away. But it is definitely strange as the common action of Trevelyan here is to start running along the stage as you move through it as well. You can see the frame shake from lag and hear a nade go off and Trevelyan take the damage if you listen closely to this dynamics version of this rare occurrence.
Huh? What's that? What the f? Huh? What's that? What?
So it's a mystery that we had going for a couple of years. The original footage from Axel Z in 2008 was not as clean, so it was a lot harder to decode what was going on, but thanks to modern technology, the picture has become much clearer. Either way, it still does remain a very, very rare occurrence in the game that seems to happen only roughly once every 10 years or so.
Huh? What's that? What the f? Whoa! Whoa! There's a grenade explosion. He died from a grenade. But why would... Well, that's weird.
Okay, the final three here are all extremely bizarre, and believe it or not, they all happen to the same speedrunner, the Scandinavian top 30 GoldenEye runner, Yendis. To fully grasp why the first one of these glitches is so strange, we need a basic understanding of a mechanic on the facility stage. If you go over to the faraway labs on facility and destroy these gas canisters, you get a message saying gas leak detected, isolating area, and the gas slowly leaks onto the level, damaging you and passing you away pretty quickly. Now there's no reason to worry about this since no speedruns visit this area. It's super far out of the way, there's only a 28% chance Dr. Doak will spawn over here. On those runs, you would just simply reset and start again, rather than venture over here all the way to find him, unless there's like a complete novelty mode where it's like a one try no matter what speedrun. You really only go over here if you're just exploring around, mucking around the game, and having fun with cheats on or something like that. So, Yendis is grinding away on a facility session, playing normally as you would expect for a facility session, and out of nowhere, on one random loaded level, he gets this message. The gas leak text message appears right as Yendis loads into the level. It is so strange and truly bizarre. This makes zero sense. It's never been seen before or since and has never been replicated even with cheats or emulator tools, though admittedly the latter hasn't been tried or investigated all that much. The level then freezes after a couple of seconds, at which point Yendis resets the console. We don't have any more footage of this session, but Facility purportedly played normally after a reset, and no such glitch occurred again. The only sort of theoretical thing that might make any sense is perhaps some sort of memory storage that leaked. Yendis doesn't recall going over to this area and destroying the tanks at any point earlier in the session. I mean, of course, why would he? So a memory storage leak doesn't exactly fit the bill entirely. We really have no idea what happened here. And so it would be one thing to chalk this off as a one-time glitch, and perhaps that's the best explanation. However, this wouldn't be the end of the strange glitches encountered by Yendis. Roughly 2 years later, on a completely different cartridge and console, Yendis was playing another Facility session. And this time, he became the very first person to clip out of bounds on Facility. Now, of course, out of bounds clips have been seen a handful of times before. GoldenEye's levels are built very well, and out of bounds glitches are incredibly rare, but we have seen it happen a couple of times on Silo, Train, and we can get it pretty reliably on Streets. However, it had never been seen before on Facility.
I'm just confused. I have no idea what's going on.
Yendis messed around a while out of bounds for a good 20 minutes or so, but nothing really comes of it. You can't really progress through the stage since nothing loads beyond the room where you clipped out of bounds. Out of bounds clips aren't as exciting or promising as we once hoped in this game. But again, for this to happen to Yendis on Facility, yet on a different cartridge and console from the previous Facility glitch, that is simply too strange. Cut to a few months later, and Yendis is playing some GoldenEye once again, this time the Bunker 2 stage, using the relatively new Jail Cell Arlene Warp clip. He's using the same cartridge and console that was used during the Facility Out of Bounds incident, but again it's a different console and cartridge from the one where he experienced the gas leak detected glitch. He performs the standard Jail Cell Arlene Warp, leaves the first area, and all of the doors in the stage unload.
What?
Why was the door wide open?
Yeah, why? What happened?
Why is the door wide open but she's not moving?
What? Can anyone clip this? I wanna see.
Right.
Oh, it's not the only door. What?
Where are the doors?
There's just no doors.
Because the doors are gone!
It is unbelievably remarkable, as this too has never happened to anyone else, nor has ever happened again. After the initial shock, Yendis and some pals in voice chat begin exploring the level. They realize there's no way to actually complete the stage in this form since Natalia will not leave her jail cell. Opening her door is what triggers her to leave the cell, and with no door, well, she's just stuck in this state forever.
How do I even make Nat come with me? It's impossible to complete this.
You can't open the door, so she'll never complete it.
Yeah. I've never seen this!
The door was just wide open.
Yeah, it was already open. Look, the door isn't there. It just didn't load.
Just open it.
No, it's just not there. There's no door.
A few other objects like tables are unloaded as well. Interestingly, one door remains on the stage, this glass door at the end of the level. Furthermore, the game simply crashed once Yendis left the stage after about 9 minutes of exploring.
Did my car crash? Yep. I'm pretty sure it crashed.
This one's actually a lot more interesting because obviously if we could find a way to reliably unload all the doors on a level without crashing, it would help save a lot of time in speedruns. But I have my doubts that this will ever be revealed to have been more than just a one-off glitch, rather than something that could be reliably replicated in speedrunning. Why did this happen? How did this happen? What are the chances that all these strange glitches happen to the same player, on two separate cartridges and consoles? It's simply beyond remarkable. There are a number of theories that have been suggested and proposed as to why all these glitches have been experienced by the same man. Now, I don't necessarily endorse any of these theories, but here are some that have been proposed. 1. The power grid in Yendis' abode of play is faulty, to a point where electronics might act up slightly. 2. Some have suggested that perhaps Yendis' cartridges might be fake reproductions, though 2 of the glitches took place on his Japanese cartridge, and it's not very common to see fake Japanese carts. Yendis has shared images of his carts, and nothing seems amiss there. 3, perhaps is as simple as his cartridge contacts being dirty or damaged, although again, this happening on both cartridges seems pretty unlikely. Even some more theories are that, it's often wondered, given conventional explanations of rogue gamma rays being known to fuddle up computers and gaming consoles, could Yendis simply reside in an area with more solar activity, thus more likely to have gamma rays strike his console and create these strange glitches? Again, I'm not an astronomer or solar scientist, so I don't even really know if this is possible, that certain areas have more solar activity than others, but let me know if you're more well-versed in these areas. And yet others have wondered if perhaps he may unknowingly reside on top of an untapped mine of some sort of radioactive material, like uranium, slowly decaying away, spraying gamma rays directly at his cartridges. But again, I'm not too sure about the science on that, so do let me know. All in all, we have no idea why these glitches happened. They are simply true mysteries that perhaps we will never understand. The answers and explanations of these occurrences always eluding even the most well-versed and researched speedrunners. But I hope you enjoyed this look at 10 extremely strange and unusual glitches, mysteries, and oddities in GoldenEye 007. Thank you all for watching, stay true my friends, and I'll see you in the next stream or video.